Hey everybody, this is Bobby Cool, Daddy Slick Breeze. This is an experiment. You guys, if you've been listening for any time now, for a while, you know that I like to experiment with different things. I experimented with text messaging and stuff like that, and that didn't work out quite like I didn't have a lot of time to devote to it, so it didn't quite work out like I wanted to. So we put that on hold. I don't know if I'll bring it back, but I like to experiment with different things, with the podcast, different videos and stuff like that. Anthony just put out an In the Bag with Chris Clemons. Did a fantastic job. If you want to watch that In the Bag, go to the YouTube channel for Dynamic Discs and watch that. But I want to experiment and see if maybe just the audio version will bring any value to you guys. I know you guys that are listening to our podcast, most of you love the podcast format, the audio format. Now, I totally get it. You won't be able to see the scenes of him throwing the disc. If he describes the look of a disc, you won't be able to see that. I totally get that. I understand that. But maybe I was watching it, thinking of it as audio, and I'm thinking there's still little nuggets of information on each mold that I think you'll find value in. So we're going to try this little experiment. I'm just going to, right after this, you're just going to hear the audio from the video. And if you think it's valuable, I'll put more of these out. I'll have Anthony give me the audio version for past In the Bags and any future In the Bags. That is only if you guys find value. Now, how are you going to tell me? I'll post a poll on the Disc Golf Answer Man Facebook group or some kind of post asking for feedback on it. So anyway, let's see how it works out. Give it a try. If you think it's the stupidest idea in the world, turn this episode off. No hard feelings, maybe a little hard feelings, but not a big deal. But if you think it's going to be something of value, take a listen, give it a try. And if at the end you thought, that did give me some information, that did help me out a little bit, gave me a little insight into how discs throw for different people. Now, keep in mind, Chris Clemons is a lefty. He's a left-handed thrower. You need to listen to his interview we did a while back. That turned out really well. All right, that's it, guys. Take a listen. Let me know what you think on the Disc Golf Answer Man Facebook group. If you're the kind of person that's not on Facebook, figure out a way to let me know.
Hey guys, what's up? My name's Chris Clemons, and this is my In the Bag. First of all, here's my towel, just kind of a basic towel. It's kind of the trilogy towel right here. So I'm gonna go through putters first. My putter, I've been throwing these for years. As you can tell, this Judge has been in my bag for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years. I think my first order from Dynamic Discs in Emporia, back when I first got sponsored, I got a set of these Judges, and I love them. It's the classic hard plastic. They just feel comfortable in my hand, and I've tried different putters over the years, but I just keep coming back to these things. This putter specifically, my buddy Josh Harvey in Dynamic Discs Kansas City, he gave this to me, and it's the rainbow stamp. I love white with rainbow stamp. If anybody knows anything about me, they know that, and so I love throwing these things. I guess the harp would kind of be considered a putter. I don't really use it as such unless it's very, very windy. But I use it more of an upshot disc. And so this is my BT medium harp. I usually like stiffer plastic, but I like this because it grabs a little more. It has a really good feel. And usually when you hit a tree or something on these, they get some little fingerprints in them and stuff. And I like that. And I got this VIP harp. And so my BT one, it's a little straighter. It's kind of a point and shoot, and I can use it for forehand, backhand, anything I want. The VIP, though, is very overstable. So if it's super windy, anything like that, I need to skip, I go to this one, and I love it. Next, I have my mid-ranges. I love the Latitude Fuse. It's amazing. I used to have a white one, This green one, I'm hoping I don't lose it in the woods because that's usually when I'm throwing this thing. And this thing, you just throw it. It's almost like a putter. You throw it and it has tons of glide and it just flips up and just holds an ante line and just goes forever. Every time I throw this disc, somebody asks me what that was. And so I love throwing it, especially in the woods here in Waco. Next, I have the Truth. This is an I got this at Am Worlds, I think, in 2013. And actually, I think this is the second one I've had. The first one I had was mine, and then this one I got from my buddy Danny Reveal. But this thing is just money. And these Truths, they were like the first to come out, and so they're what you would call an EMAC Truth now. And but this thing is definitely flippier than an EMAC Truth, so I love this thing. It's one of my go-to discs. Next, I have the Verdict. I got this from my buddy Cooper Arnold in Kansas City, and he actually works at the Dynamic Disc store there too. And this is the Lucid plastic, and it's kind of that milky stuff. It might actually even be hybrid, but this thing, I love it, and it's a really good complement to the Truth because if it ever gets too windy and I still need that straight shot, I can throw a Verdict. And I can put it on a hyzer and it'll just hold the hyzer the whole way, or I can, snap it flat and it just goes dead straight with some pretty good fade at the end. And so this is just a really, really good, consistent disc, and I love it. It's underrated. Not a lot of people throw it, but they should. And then everybody's got to have a Justice in their bag. I use this strictly for really windy days. I use it backhand, forehand if I need huge skips, anything like that. I would use it in place of like a harp. If the wind's not 10 miles an hour, if it's 30 miles an hour, then I need something that I can really count on, and that's the Justice. And this one, I stamped myself at GBO in I think 2015. I think that's when this thing first came out. And this is a Fusion one, and so I'm loving it. Next, I guess I'll go my fairway drivers. And I don't have many in the bag right now. I used to throw St. Pros, but I'm throwing the Explorer now. But I have this prototype Explorer, and I was pretty excited when it came out. But I'm kind of a creature of habit, and so I like having the same stuff in my bag and the same feel, and I just get used to it. I don't switch discs a lot. I don't usually try out a bunch of new stuff just because sometimes I don't feel like there's a hole in my bag. But the St. Pro, I love it, and I threw it for years, and I threw it really well, and it was just an amazing disc. But when I felt this Explorer, I was like, man, this thing feels amazing in the hand. And so I've thrown this. So far this year, I've probably thrown 15 or 20 shots with it in a tournament, and it's been money every single time. You can just throw it really hard, and it goes straight with hard fade for me. For the AM, it might be a little more overstable, but it's really workable. You can put it on an ante, and it'll hold that and just kind of pan out. It's just really amazing. And this is a brand new Opto Explorer I got from Robert McCall, and it's unthrown. And so I'm excited to throw this, so it'll kind of be a backup for this thing. Next, I have the Felon. The Felon is a staple in my bag. A lot of people know Eric Oakley loves the Felon, but I think I love it just as much as he does. And I mean, it's an amazing disc. It just feels really good in the hand. You can use it for backhand, for forehands. You can work it on flex lines. You can basically do anything with this disc. And then, kind of to round out my fairways, I throw an Opto Triple X. The reason I would have this or choose this over a Felon, I like to forehand this disc a lot. And it's usually kind of shorter range than a Felon. Whenever I forehand a Felon, it kind of flips up flat and goes straight, and then it fades. When I use this, it kind of fights that wanting to go flat, and it'll just kind of hyzer the whole time. It's slower than a Felon. It's a speed 7, maybe even a 6 compared to the Felon at a 9. And so it's a little more consistent, and I use this for like skip shots and stuff like that. And I've just had it in the bag. Now on to the drivers. So ever since I started to build a bag, whenever I kind of got into disc golf and started becoming adequate at the game, I I saw a post, it was probably on Disc Golf Course Review or something like that, that you should kind of build your bag, have like a, start out at putters and have an understable putter, have a straight putter, have an overstable putter, and so on, mid-range, fairway driver, driver. So I still kind of build my bag like that. But back then, I didn't throw any forehands, and so I did have more understable discs in my bag, and now I have a lot more overstable discs and less discs that you would consider flippy because I throw forehands now, and a hyzer's a really consistent shot. But when you get in the woods, you do need a lot more turnovers and stuff like that, and so you still need those turnover shots. But I have this disc. This is a pretty old gold line stiletto, and this thing is amazing in the wind. It's basically like a triple X, but just further. And so if it ever gets windy, anything like that, I use it for a lot of forehands. And if you want massive skips, this thing is great in the wind, and it has a dynamic disc stamp on it. I don't know who did this stamp. It could be Resco himself. I asked him, and he said he doesn't remember. So next, that would be my most overstable driver. My second set of overstable drivers would be, I have the Enforcer. These are all Fusion. This one is an EMAC Enforcer, pretty old run. And this thing is just amazing. I got this from a buddy in Kansas City, and it's just super overstable. It has that dome, I like that heartbeat. And this thing I would throw for a lot of windy shots if I still want that distance that a stiletto maybe fade a little bit too soon. I want something like this that has that extra carry, but I don't have to worry about it flipping in a wind. And this one's pretty new to my bag. This Enforcer, it's kind of the exact same thing as that thing, but this one's a little more beat in. And I got this from Dynamic Disc Kansas City, and it even has a Dynamic Disc Kansas City stamp on it. It actually sat on the wall for maybe a year, and I just kept looking at it every time I come into work, and I was like, you know what? I think I need that thing. And so I bought it, and this thing was so overstable. It had no glide at the beginning when I first got it, and I was like, what is this thing? Is it really a stiletto? But I've worked it in, and it is just amazing. It's one of my go-to drivers. Then I have this thing I got from Sam Henderson. He's on Team Latitude 64, and when I went up to Vibram last year, he gave me this thing because I love the old run Enforcers, and it kind of has the milky the milky waves on it, and this thing is just amazing. It's 173. I use this for if I need a forehand that goes pretty, I can just snap flat and straight, and it goes 375 or even 400 before it starts fading, especially in a tight wooded hole. This is when I throw this thing. It's perfectly beat in for how I throw right now, and everybody needs a disc like that. And so after that, I have my Bio Defenders. This is one of my favorite discs. The Defender, I threw Enforcers strictly for a long time, and I'd have like 5 Enforcers in my bag at any given point. And I would throw the Bio Enforcer if I wanted some flip on it, because the Bio tends to break in a little faster. And then a buddy brought a Defender out to Rosedale Park in Kansas City one day, and he was like, hey man, you should throw this around. And so we just kind of played catch with it. And I was throwing it forehand, backhand, anything 400 feet, any line. It was just easy to throw. And I was like, well, this might make the bag. And so the Enforcer it has a nice overstable flight, and it fades pretty hard at the end. The only reason I would throw the Defender over the Enforcer, it's the exact same flight. It just has more glide. It just goes further for me. And so I would throw an Enforcer on a hyzer, and it would go maybe 400 feet. I throw the Defender, and it goes 430 feet. It's just an amazing disc. It's my maximum distance driver, and I love it. It's really good for forehands. And so this one, I threw a lot in Vegas and at the Memorial. And this is one of the new runs, the Paige Pierce Biofusion Defender, and this thing is just awesome. I always look for that pop top, and this one's pretty heavy. It's like 174, and I just love it. It's good in the wind. It's good for everything. This one is a little more beat in, but this is a Paige Pierce Bio Defender, and it's 168. So I use this for if I want some more flip, if I need to carve a line in the woods, something like that. This thing just goes for days. It has amazing glide while still being consistent and overstable. And then I have this one that I threw this a lot at Worlds last year in the woods at WR Jackson, and it was pretty overstable then. But now this thing has become my turnover disc, my turnover maximum distance driver, and it's a Biodefender, and it's got that pop top. But I've just thrown this thing for a long time, and I love it. And the last disc in my bag is a Goldline Bolt. And I use this solely for rollers. I've tried a couple different rollers over the year, but this thing is just amazing. It goes far, and I love it. So a couple other things in my bag, I guess, would be my water bottle, dynamic discs. Gotta have that. Gotta stay hydrated out here. This pocket, what do I got? Got my wallet. Hand-Eye Supply wallet. Gotta love it. Love Crispin. And my Mini. So this Mini I've had for a long, long time. This Mini I've had probably since like 2012, since I kind of started playing competitive disc golf. And I got it from the Disc Golf Monkey in Springfield, Missouri. And I probably got it with maybe some tournament winnings when I played advanced or something like that. And I've just had it ever since, and so I just love it. Couple other things. I guess I got some snackaroons in my bag, so macaroons. Gotta have some food. In this pocket, got a Kind energy bar. Gotta have some energy out here. Got my headphones. Every time I warm up, gotta have some Bluetooth headphones. You just kind of got to get in the right mindset whenever you're warming up for a tournament. And I never listen to them during a tournament because I like to be able to hear the birds chirping and other people on my card. But I love music. And this is actually my girlfriend. She left it in here from Las Vegas. I swear I don't use this, but I don't know. I guess if my lips get chapped, I could use it. Then I got over here, these actually... So this is a Dynamic Discs wristband. Gotta have that. Gotta represent. I also have one on my wrist. This is a Vegas Strong wristband, and I have family in Las Vegas, and my cousin's husband, he's on the SWAT team, and he had to deal with the whole Mandalay Bay thing, and so they gave me this, and so it's pretty close to home, and so I love my family, and I stayed with them in Vegas, and they're amazing. And then this is a bracelet from India that one of my friends, John Winhausen, gave to me from back home in Joplin, Missouri. And so this is kind of a good luck thing and good vibes, and so I've always carried this with me, and I think I always will. But yeah, that's what's in my bag, so I appreciate you guys watching, and look out for me on tour this year.